Good evening and welcome to another session of SQL. My name is Godwin and I would be your SQL teacher for this evening. We started joins last week, so I aim for us to complete it. Who can remind us where we stopped with the joins last week? Who can remind us where we stopped with joins last week? Nobody? Should I call somebody? Larry, can you remind us, please, where we stopped with joins last week? Oga Larry.
Hello, good evening, Godwin. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I think we stop at cross join.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
100%?
You think so?
Did you revise anything at all that we did last week, guys? At least you should be able to tell me where we stopped. You know? I'm going to share some two tables with you now that I want you to load them up. Right. I think we started discussing the cross join, but we really didn't go into it. So that's where we're gonna start today. But before we do that, I want to share two very simple files with you. I'm just creating the files now. That's why I'm a bit quiet. I'm creating the files. So I'm going to share these files with you. And I just want you guys, if you can, just load them up. If you can't, not to worry. You can always load them up at a later time. So give me like 1 minute. I'll finish creating these files and then I'll share them with you. Files on Telegram. I've just shared 2 files on Telegram. See if you can. Anyone who thinks they can load them up can, the way they are all CSV files, so you should be able to load them up quickly. You can load them up under SQL HR. Just call them cross as they are named here. Just call them the same thing. Just add them onto your SQL HR files. We shall use these 2 files in our cross joins. Okay. They are very simple files, but it would do the explanation like I tried to do last week. Okay, so let's get on with this. I'm going to share my screen now. Oh, we have a few more people, huh? That's cool. That's good. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay. Have you gotten the files that I shared?
I'm trying to download mine.
Okay. Right. So today we started with cross joins, okay? Now, like I explained the last time, with cross joins, if you're joining two tables, you need to be really, really careful because every item in table one, an item in table one would join onto every other item in table two. So if you're joining three tables, you can imagine what is going to happen. Each item in one would join with every other item in each of the other tables, right? And it continues like that. So you might have a very small data set, and then you might end up producing a very huge data set just by doing a cross join. And like I did explain, it is not a commonly used join simply because it is more or less used in mathematical computations. So, but it also has a lot of uses, even in the business world. Okay, so let's take these. Let me select. I'll just select from where I saved my, okay? You can save yours under SQLHR. It doesn't really matter. By now, I believe you will know that it doesn't matter where your database is. So long as you know where the database is, you can call it from, you can always call it, right? So, like we explained the last time, if we're doing cross joins, then if we have a table, line. If we have a table, let's assume we have a table like this, just as I've sent to you. Oops. If we have one, two, and then you also have one same way. And then you have another table. Let's say these are numbers. And then you have another table. And these are alphabets. So here again, we have 1, 2, 3. And we have A, B, C. Then if you do a join or a cross join of these two tables, 1 would join onto A, B, and C. 2 would join onto A, B, and C. 3 would join onto A, B, and C. So with just a data set of 3 rows in each table, you would end up having how many rows? 9 rows. So if you have 10 rows of data, you're looking at having how many? 10 times 10. That is 100. If you have 1,000 rows of data, then you are looking at how many rows? 1 million. And this is just from 2 tables. So assuming you're joining 3 tables, and you have 100 rows of data in each table, then you're going to have 100 times 100 times 100. No, not even that. You are going to end up having 100. 100. The first 2 will give you 100 times 100, which is what? 10,000, right? And you are going to have 100 times 10,000. So that is how big your data sets can eventually be with cross join. So let's look at this in a real situation. Let's just have a look at this in a real situation. So assuming, for example, that I say select, I have my tables here. I've sent them to you. I've named them slightly different in this table, but not to worry. It's the same thing. I've called them cross join 1, cross join 2. You will notice that I've just named them cross 1, cross 2, just for the sake of simplicity. So select all. Let's look at these tables first. From, let's say, cross join 1. If we execute this, this is what we have. So this is the first table I said, one of the tables I just sent to you. Now, if we have this same thing, let's execute both at the same time. You will see that for the second one, we have just these letters, right? Right? So if we want to do a cross join, how do we do a cross join? So first we select what we want to join. Let's say we select everything. Select all. From cross join 1. Select all from cross join 1. And then cross it. Cross, that's just the word you use. Or cross join with cross join 2. So the key word there, the key phrase there is what? Cross join, right? With cross join 2. So select all from cross join 1 and cross join with cross join 2. In fact, this is because of the way the joins are. That's why I renamed that as just cross 1, cross 2. So you will be writing, well, select all from cross 1, cross join with cross 2. Do you get that? That makes it a little bit more It makes it less complicated. So this is what we have from running this query. And then you would see that one joins with A, it joins with B, and it joins with C. Can you see that?
Yeah.
One joins with A, one joins with B, and one joins with C. Two joins with A, two joins with B, and two joins with C. Same for 3. Okay. Any questions? Any questions so far with a join, cross join? Any questions so far? Have you tried it? Has anybody been able to try it? Don't use so when you are writing your query from your end with the tables I've just sent to you, you write select all from cross 1, cross join, cross 2. Yep, you get it? Okay. Any questions? If there are no questions, let's make progress. There are no questions, let's make progress. Lovett, any questions? Larry, any questions?
No problem.
Okay. Okay, so now let's move on to self-join. Self-join. Who has explored the concept of self-join? Who has explored self-joins? Okay. Let's look at self-join. What is the meaning of self-join? How is self-join? With the other ones, left join, right join, full join, inner join, we know what exactly is happening. But what do we mean by self-join? What exactly do we mean by self-join? Who can explain? Who can tell us what that means? Yep. Well, what does that mean? Is there anything really like self-join? Yes, there is. But how does it work? How is it operated? What is the meaning of self-join? I wish I could send you another table, but I think it's a bit late now. Let me see if you have it. Not to worry, you don't have that. Again, I'll use it. I'll use this database. I'll send you that table later so you can use it for practice. There is a table here that I want to use. Where are you? Okay, let me see. Let me see if this would work. I just want to have a look at this, what is in there. Okay, I think this should work. Right, so let me explain the concept of self-join. Let me just explain that before we actually look at how it is implemented. Now, unlike the other types of joins, where you will be joining two or more tables, a self-join, like the name implies, is joining a table onto itself. So you are not joining a table with any other table, right? But you are joining a table onto its own self. And what is the reason for that? Okay, so if we have a table like this, look at the names in here. All these people, you would see clearly that these are what? A table that has got managers in a business, right? But you do not see any hierarchy. It doesn't show you any hierarchy. I believe some of us here work, and I believe we would know and understand that if you have a manager, your manager is also likely to have a manager who would also have a manager until you get to the very top person, who is the CEO. So when you are looking at hierarchical relationships within a table, that is where you use self-joins to create that hierarchy, or to show that hierarchy that exists within the table. That is where you use self-join. You join a table onto itself. So it is not like we are going to use the word self. In a self-join, unlike the other joins, when we did a left join, we use left. When we did a right join, we use the right. We use left, right. Inner join, we use inner. In a self join, there is nothing like using the word self. The word self is not a word in SQL. So be aware of that. The word self is not a word. It is not an SQL keyword. Right? It is the way the table, it is the way it is executed. It is the way it is operated. That is how the name is derived. So the name of the operation gives the name of that kind of join. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay. So let's look at something. Let's just look at something. If we have this, we want to select, let's call this, let's give it an alias, right? Let's give it an alias. Let's left join. So we use the left join still. We left join this table. We left join this table. Let's call it man. So look at it carefully. Look at these two things carefully. I have called one, the same table. I have given it an alias here, emp, and I have given the same table another alias, man. That is where the split comes in. So left join the employees who are managers, called man, on, let me see, person ID, manager person ID, okay. Employees manager man on employees manager person ID. Underscore person ID. Employees underscore person ID. Person. Audit manager person ID. Manager person ID should be equal to man's manager person ID. Man's person ID. Man dot person ID. I'm not sure if you see what is happening here. The same table, but I've given the same table two aliases. I have called one M and I've called one man. Right? So what am I doing here? All I'm doing is joining on what? Person ID. Manager person ID and the person's person ID. Manager person ID, and the person ID. Right? This is what is happening here. Now, what this simply means is that for every person, you would have that person's manager. So you want to show who manages who. Right? So let's run it and see. all of a sudden, we have an extended table. And it is beginning to make sense. Is it beginning to make sense? Can somebody see some sense in this? A little bit of sense. Not too much at this point, but it is beginning to make sense. Why do I say that? Look at this person here, the first row. Can somebody tell me who that person's manager? Who is the person in the first row? Who is the main person in the first row?
Yvonne Smith.
Okay. Can you tell me Yvonne Smith's manager?
Carol Goodwill.
Beautiful. 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 But you would see here that look at this here. Even Carol Goodwill has got a manager, right?
Yeah.
Good. So there is still some more separation for us to do. Is that making sense? There is still some more.
Yeah.
So I believe we all work one way or the other, or we've worked before. If we don't now, and if we don't, we might have ideas of how the workplace is like. Or even if you don't work, come back to school. In a school, you have the students who are general, right? Okay. They are not part of management. But look at management. Look at a school's management. You have the teachers or the lecturers, and then you have the heads of departments, right? And then the heads of department would also have their heads. Before eventually, if it's a university, before eventually you go to the vice chancellor, right? So that kind of hierarchy is what we are trying to create here. And you will see that we haven't used a self in this, like I did say. We haven't used a self. The join that we use here is the left join. Let's continue. Let's make progress. Okay. So let's say we select employee person emp dot person ID emp. So emp stands for who? Employees manager, right? Emp dot person ID. Where from this line, red line, what's happening here? Okay, let me see. We'll underscore name. Okay, so I think we should first of all, I'm not sure why why the line is coming up here. I think we should employees manager from, okay, that's the table name. Okay, let me. One moment, I'll explain this. So what I'm doing here is this. See, every employee, for example, if we take this employee, every manager is an employee, right? That's what I'm trying to do. Every manager is an employee. Though they are managers, they are still employees, right? So if we take the employee's full name as employee, and then we take the manager's full name as manager name, from employees manager as emp. Okay. As emp. Then we can left join this. So we've taken care of the emp here. We are left with man. Because we haven't declared man yet, he doesn't know what man is, which is why there is the squiggly line under man. Let's see how we can declare that. Man dot full name as manager. Okay, let's see. Left join. Sorry, one moment. Let me just say something. Young man. So left join manager hierarchy manage. Left join employee managers. Left join employee managers. Man. On. So now we've declared employee, we've declared a man here. So you see that it's taking care of that. On employee m dot manager person ID. This should be equal to the manager's manager person ID. To the manager's person ID. Dot person ID. Right. So this is what we have at this point. So what is the meaning of this query? What this simply means is that we have an employee, and that employee has got a manager. We just want their full names. The employee's full name as employee name, and the employee's manager as manager name. And then we are doing a left join, right? We are doing joining the employee's manager, man, on the employee's manager person, which should be equal to the manager's person ID. The employee who is the manager, their ID should be equal to the manager's person's ID. Am I making sense here? Is it making sense? Let's run this and see what we would have. And let's see if this makes a little bit more sense. Does this make a little bit more sense than the first one? I believe it does, because this shows a better arrangement. This shows clearly that this is an employee and that is their manager. When we run the first one, it was a bit all over the place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a bit all over the place. So it's difficult. With this one, it's difficult to see exactly unless you look at it very critically. But now we have taken away a whole lot of things. We are just concentrating on their names and linking them up by their IDs. Right? Linking them up by their IDs. The confusion here, though, is that because you are joining the table onto itself, you keep repeating some of the IDs, some of the attributes that we are linking them by. So, for example, this is person ID, that's person ID. Right, but mind you, we have given them aliases. The same thing we have declared for some of the attributes to be employees, or some of the we creating a separation of employees and then their managers. Right? Any questions? Because we are going to go a little bit further. We are going to go a little bit further because it doesn't end here. With self-join, you can keep going until you get to the stage where there is no, you see exactly who sits on top. So, for example, if you look at this, you do not see exactly who sits on top of the table, right? Though if you have a trained eye, you can see who sits on top of the table, but it is not very explicit. You have to think and think and think before you know exactly who sits on top of the table, right?
Yeah.
So we can go a little bit further. How do we do that? Let's again select. Can I copy some of these things? Select. I think I can copy some things. Okay, I can copy some things actually. Select employee person ID. employee full name as that. Okay, from. Okay, let's create another one. Let's create a CEO. We want to see who sits on top of the table. So CEO dot full name as CEO. Okay. And this is from emp underscore managers as emp, left join, emp managers man on emp manager underscore person ID should be equal to that. Then we create another left join. This time, who are we creating the left join mainly for? We created it because of the CEO that we have just introduced. And let's see what this will give us. So we've created another column, another attribute, right? CEO. So do we now know who the CEO of the business is?
Still not.
Yep. Still not.
So how come we have Caroline and Yvonne?
Good question. That's what I'm thinking of now. Very, very good question. Because, okay, let me see why that. What is Caroline linked with? Jeff? Yvonne Smith. No, I'm not talking to you.
Is that a hierarchy?
I think this place is a hierarchy, but I'm not sure why it is there actually. These last three. Okay, I think I know what's happening here. There is an update within the table. There is an update within the table. This table has recently been updated and it's affecting, but I wasn't expecting these three results. I was only expecting that. So, okay, forget about the last three. I'll find a way to get them out. Right, this is where I expected it to end. So with this, you would see that because Stephen Knott is the CEO, he has no boss. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He has no boss, okay? Or his boss is unknown. His boss may be the board of directors, right? So this person, all these people are managers though. This person has this as manager, and this person has that as manager. But we know that this is the most senior person in the business. Okay. Same way, this person. Okay, so this person directly, you see from here, you can even see the correlation. We just said that this person has that as manager, and this person has that as manager. Right? And you can see that clearly here. Caroline Goodwill has only Stephen not as her manager. Do you see that? You see the relationship between these two. So will it be safe to say that okay, so right. So if we were to draw organizational charts now, we can say that Stephen Knott sits at the top. Then right under Stephen Knott, we would have who and who? Caroline Goodwill and
Andy Goodwill.
Andy
Oswald.
Gospel. Right? And under those people, we would then start filling in the other ones. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. I would update this table and send it to you so you can. I'll get rid of these three things from here. Okay, so that brings us to an end of joins. Okay, that brings us to an end of joins. It's a very, very common. It's one of the most common SQL queries that you would run. And why is that? You might have information in different tables, and you might want to bring all the pieces of data together so as to be able to do what? Analyze. All right. So this is where you need to.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I see the need for a left join.
Yeah.
Can you give me kind of like an example, or why would I need to do a cross join?
Like I did say, cross join is not commonly used. I mentioned the fact that it's mainly used. Remember the very first day I said it is used as a Cartesian. It's mainly, it serves mainly as a Cartesian kind of
Yeah, you did.
join, where each element within one table would join on to each other element in any other table. So it's mainly used within the fields of mathematics and engineering.
Okay.
Right? But it would also have uses in business, which is why I'm sure I've not come across it. It's not something that you would come across often. Right? It's not something that you will come across often with a cross join, but it's just good to know that there is a cross join. Right? It's just
So for join, really, we just have left join, because self join is a left join.
yes, self join is actually a left join.
So,
but the name comes from the way it is implemented. So we have only used one table to do what it is that we've done here.
yeah.
We haven't gone to use any other table. The only table we have used is this table here. That's the only table we have used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from this table, we have tried to maneuver to get what we can link with to get what we want. You get it? Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, cool. So let me create another. We're going into a completely new topic now, and that is the concept of strings, string handling. And why is this important? Matter of fact, this is very important. This topic is really very important for any data scientist, anyone dealing with SQL. This is a really important topic. This is a really, really important topic. You've already started doing it even in your Power BI. Have you started data cleaning in Power BI?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've already started doing string handling. Right. It's already, we have just, okay, let's see. For string handling, there is one important keyword. And that, or there are a number of keywords. One of them is quite very important. We have what we call the substring. Substring. Then we have len. These are the things we will be talking about. We have trim. We have replace. We have another very, very, very important concept, char index. We have a funny concept which you can just play around with. Reverse. And then we have another very important concept called cast. And then we have another important concept called convert. So with all of these, you would see that the only one that I've said something you can play with is what? Reverse. And that is because you can use it to play around and make jokes and play games, children games and all sort of things. But all other things are quite very, very important. It's not like reverse is not important. It could also be used. So let's see. Okay. Let's start with substring. Substring. What is the meaning of substring? Who can tell us from just what the word is saying? I think the explanation is already given in there. So what will this be? What does this mean? Substring. Substring. Is there any word that any other word that you know that has got the prefix sub?
Subset.
Pardon?
Subset.
Subset. What does that mean?
A less a lower or less part of a string or
Beautiful. A part. That's all I need. That's the word I need. A part of something. A part of something. Substring. A part of a string. A part of a string. Part of a string. Now, when you were doing data cleaning in Power BI, you would have taken away certain parts of certain strings. I'm not sure if you did that, but you would have come across certain characters in certain fields that you didn't want. And so you needed to get rid of those characters from within the whole string that you had. You probably would have had to get rid of certain characters. So that is the concept that we would like to explore at this point. And it is quite an important concept. So it is something that if you get conversant with this and know how to use it, would help you a very, very long way in your SQL journey. Let's first of all, I think you all have the employees database, right? That I sent to you some time ago from 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓. So that we're going to use that. That will make it a little bit easier for us. Oh God, it looks like I've lost my database. Oh my God. Where has it gone? It's just gone. And I don't have many things open today. I just closed everything just before coming. Owen, stop recording, okay? Right, so we're talking about substring, right? That's the first thing we're going to do. Even if we are able to just look at substring for today, that will be fine. That'll be fine. So let me select a database. I have all my databases now. So let me see if I can choose. Yeah, I think you have the employee table in 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶, right? I gave you employee table, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we are going to use. Instead of calling your table here, your database here, you can also call it here. You can also call it here. It's the same thing. Okay. Let's first of all see what we have under that in that table. Let's see what we have in the employees table under 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶. Employees. And then let's see what we can, let's see if there are things that we can play with there. Okay, substring. We are talking here about substring. Substring. So look at the attributes that we have just returned from running this query. Are there any attributes, or are there any fields that you think we can have subsidiaries of? Are there any fields, are there any attributes that we can have subsidiaries of? Anybody? Okay, I'll tell you. We can have subsidiaries of employee number. We can have subsidiaries of title or even end dates, forename, surname, birth dates, address ID. We can have subsidiaries of all of these. Substring, subsidiary of a string, a part of the string, a part of it. But I would just focus on the employee number. Let's just focus on employee number. Let's just focus on employee number. Select employee. Employee number. Employee underscore number. From the table employees. So that will give us just the employee number, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What can we do with this? You would see that we have two character types in employee number. We have an alphabetic part and we have an integer part. So that is a string. And if we want or if we like, we can separate the alphabet from the numbers. Can we do that? Are we able to do that? Yes, we are able to do that. How do we do that? Is the question. We use the keyword substring. We use the keyword substring. And how do we use the keyword substring? Substring, you see, immediately you start writing, it comes up, it selects the word for you. Substring, employee number. And what do? You select the character that you want, which is in the first position, and how many characters you want it to return. Select employee number. From that employee number that you have selected, select a part of it. Which part are you selecting? The first character. You started from the first character and you are selecting one character. Select employee number. When you have done that, select a part of the employee number. Which part do you want to select from the employee number? You are starting your selection from the first character and select only one part, one character out of the employee number. So let's see what this will return. We we have named that part alphabetic part. So you see, we have gotten E selected from this.
Sorry, Godwin. My own table does not have an alphabetic part.
Your own what?
My own table doesn't have the alphabets
Which table?
in the employee number.
Okay, share your screen.
Hold on.
Yeah, mine too.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think it has to do with what
did you load?
I'm sharing my screen now.
Okay.
Like it's got decimals at the end.
It's got what? Okay, run the full query. Let's see. Run the first query. Select all from employees. Oh, I see. Oh, does it mean that the alphabet got deprecated? Oh, I see. I see.
Okay.
It will see. Let me see the table I sent to you. Let me see the table I sent to you. Okay, one moment. Documents, student enrollment, student. Where did I save this thing? Okay, okay, that's it. Yeah, it is part of the table I sent to you. It's in there. It's there. So why did it not load? Look at it. Let me share my screen back. I'm not sure how the loading was done. Is it the same for everybody? Look at it. This is the table I shared with you guys. Can you see that?
Yes, but if
No.
it's showing the same, sir?
My employee number is the same as UM's.
So do you have check the table check the original data set that I sent to you. See if it has the alphabetic part.
Yes, it has the alphabetic part, but when you reloaded it, I don't know what happened to it.
Really?
Yeah, it removed
Okay, we will look at that later, okay?
Okay.
We will look at that later. We'll look at that later. But you get what I'm trying to say. Right. So we will look at that later. Okay. Now, so from this, you will see that we can manipulate what characters we want and what we don't want. We can very, very easily, just from this simple query, we can easily manipulate what we want. So assuming we want the first two characters, what needs to change here? Assuming we want the first two characters, what needs to change here?
From 1 to 4?
Pardon?
2.
1 to 2.
Which of the ones we change to 2?
It should be
Sorry, you said we want, what are we looking for?
We want the first 2 characters.
Okay, then it'll be
the first one will change to 2.
Okay,
It'll be two,
let me explain this. Let me explain this result again.
It will be 2, I think.
Let me explain this result again. So what this query is saying is that select employee number. When you have done that, select part of the employee number. Start your selection from the first character and select only one character.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's 1, 2.
So it is what? 1, 2. Exactly. So so let's see, this is first 2 characters. And that's what we have. But you see, even with the data, the information you have, you can still okay, I think I know what may have happened when you were loading. Maybe you just said it should load integers. You didn't say you should load it as a string. Oh, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Maybe
but
when you were loading the data set,
okay.
maybe when you were loading when you're loading, it gets to a stage where you need to select the character type that you want loaded. Maybe the character type that appeared when you were loading that data set was integer, which you probably needed to have changed to string so that it will load the E also.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I'll look into it.
Yeah, okay. So here we have the first 2 characters, as you can see. And if we want, let's assume we want everything, or we want as many as possible. Let's assume we want, how many characters are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there more than 6? Will there be one with more than 6? Probably. I think this is a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let's assume that we want up to 8. Let's just call it XYZ. Let's just call it XYZ. It gives us everything that we have called for. Do you get that? So we can use this to manipulate what we want. In much the same way, if we don't want to start our selection from the first character, let's assume we want to start from the second character. Which of these would we change?
The first one.
We change the first one to 2.
Yeah, we change the first one to 2. And we just want, let's say, 1 character.
It's going to be all ones.
It's going to be all ones, yeah? Are you sure? Let's see. It's probably going to be all ones. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's say we want the second character, right? We want the second. Start from second. Starting from second. Let's run it and see.
Selecting 2, returning 2 characters.
Yeah, start from second, return 2. I want to give it a name. Start, a name that makes sense. Start from second, but it doesn't need to be too long too, but this is going to be too long, right?
Second.
Start from second, return to. Return to. This is way too long. Who can shorten it?
Second to.
Okay, second to. Okay, that makes sense. Second to. Okay. And that gives us this. In much the same way, if we just want the numeric part only, all of the numeric parts, we need to know the maximum number of characters. The one that has got the most characters anyway, we will need to know that. If we want just the numeric parts, then I think the maximum number of numeric characters is, if not 6 or 7, but it doesn't matter at all. That means that we are going to start our count from 2, and let's make this 7, right? Numeric parts. Only. It gives us all of the numeric parts. Any questions? This concept leads on to len. Because remember, just a while ago, len stands for length. Len stands for length. Just a while ago, I said, if we want just the numeric parts, then I started asking the question, how many characters form the numeric parts? We don't need to crack our heads, try to count. Assuming this numeric part had 100 characters, would we now be counting the number of characters? No, we don't need to do that. The query, we can just write a simple query, and the query would do that for us. Right? The query will do that for us. So just as we wrote this and used substring, we can also write the same query and use len to get the number of characters. So we looking at the len of employee number. Length of character. We're looking at the employee number, okay? The whole employee number, we want the number of characters. How many characters do we have in employee number? So these are 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Let's see if there are more than 6. I believe there should be some with more than 6. Some are 5, some are 7. Yeah, some are 5, some are 7. But mind you, we could also have some There could be instances where we would have something to be 100. Would we be counting how many there are in the string? No, we wouldn't be doing that. We can just write a query like this, and that query would do all the work for us. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Let me see if we can get AdventureWorks, something from AdventureWorks to do.
What if we wanted to eliminate the letter?
The what?
The letter.
If we want to eliminate the letter.
Yeah, we want to count the number of actual integers, not.
Oh, we want to count from the number of actual integers.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. How do you think we will do that?
It will be similar to eliminating the first character, so it will be learn employee number.
Okay, so okay, let me just explain. Yeah, when you start doing that, once you start eliminating parts, what do you use in eliminating parts?
No. What I meant by eliminating parts is I meant we're gonna say start from the second character.
Okay, so definitely you are eliminating some parts.
Yeah.
So what word do you use in eliminating parts? Or let me rephrase. What word do you use in selecting parts of your string?
Substring.
Substring.
Yeah.
So you are now coming into what? Combination.
Yeah.
Of len and substring.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can combine these.
Okay.
We can combine len and substring. Okay. We can actually do that. But I think we will do that next week.
Okay.
We'll get into that next week.
No problem.
So if we, for example, change, let's see if we, so as you have a database to work on, we can also select AdventureWorks. Let's see if we can run a query on AdventureWorks. Let me see if there's a table there we can easily use. Select all from dim employee. Oh, okay. From dim employee. What's happened? My database hasn't changed. Why has it not changed? Okay, I think because I've written use this here. So it's, let me get rid of the use that I have written here. Where is it? Because I embedded it here, it wants me to embed AdventureWorks here as well.
Can't you have use SQLHR at the top, and at the bottom you wanted to change it to AdventureWorks? If you put in use,
yeah, I could have written here use AdventureWorks.
Okay.
But see how long it is. I don't want to go through that trouble.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what we have here. Is there anything here that we can play around with? I believe there is something. We can play around with a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
But one thing that is interesting, one interesting part or two interesting bits would be what? Login ID and email address.
Yeah. And phone number.
If you just want, yeah, and phone number. If you just want to send parts of these, assuming you're doing something secretly, you just want to send parts of an email address to somebody, you can just extract parts, and then maybe they know a part already, right? So you just extract the part that they don't know and send it to them, and they can then add the other part. Or you can send parts, you can send separate parts. It's like sometimes when you order a card from the bank, especially if it's a new card or a new account, they don't send you the card and the PIN at the same time, do they?
No.
They send you the card and then they send the PIN. So something like this is a similar thing. So you can split the email address up and then send it in parts to whoever you want to send to.
Everything up to the @ sign.
Pardon?
Everything up to the @ sign.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's see. If we take login ID, for example, login ID. This is login ID, right? Can we do something with this?
Everything after adventure.
Everything after adventure. Let's see. Adventure, 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 adventure. Okay, so what we can do, how many characters are in adventure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So where are we going to start from?
Substring.
Which character do we start from?
The first one.
Now, okay, so which part of the login ID do you want?
The everything after adventure.
Everything after adventure. So how many characters, which character are you going to start from?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would say 10.
10. Exactly. So you say 10, that's cool. Substring of login ID. Starting from 10. And how many starting from 10 to the end?
Yeah.
Do we know how many characters it to take? Okay, so we can select starting from 10 to 20.
What if
Anything.
we put a star
inclusive?
there? What
You
if
get
we
it?
put a star there?
Pardon?
If we put an asterisk, a star, doesn't it just give us everything?
No.
Okay.
The asterisk is put within the selection.
Okay.
Select is put in select.
Okay.
Login ID. Okay, why
To name it.
Login ID. Select login ID, substring, is there a wrong spelling? Login ID.
Different case.
No, it's not. SQL is not case sensitive, remember?
Yeah, it's true.
Something is not correct somewhere. Oh, okay. I haven't finished. As what should we call that bit?
Unique ID.
Hmm?
Unique ID.
Okay, unique ID. Unique ID. Why is it still misbehaving? What could the problem be? What could the problem be? Okay, maybe. Incorrect. It says incorrect syntax. Expecting. Oh, okay, I get it. Oh my days. It's a very, who knows what the mistake is? Who knows where the error is coming from?
Is there a comma before the substring?
Exactly. That's it. That's it. That's where it is from.
So what's the comma really for?
Oh, it's separating. Okay. Let me go back. So the comma is like when you are, okay, let me write this as this. Okay. So you see that this one here is a separation between this word
Yes.
and that.
Yes.
So it's like if I say select first name, comma, last name, comma, title.
Okay.
If I don't put the comma there, then it doesn't show that I'm separating the two.
Okay.
So it's confused as to what you want it to do.
Okay.
So you see, when I put it here, it works. It's either here or there.
Okay.
All right. And so it has just returned this part, the unique part of the ID. That's return the unique part of the login ID. And anyone in the organization, assuming you are running a secret program, and only people within AdventureWorks would know to add adventure to this, right? Nobody would know what, if you send this out, nobody would really be able to use it because it wouldn't make sense to people who don't know what it's about. Do you get the point? Any questions?
No.
Any questions?
No from me.
I think we should stop here, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's stop here. We shall continue with other parts of substring.